Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Keep Gaming Reviews. I'm your host, Lu Nieves Jr., and I'm joined by Mayamo CG. What's going on, man?
Uh,
You seem to be feeling a lot better because if you haven't noticed, Mayamo CG was not on our podcast that you saw yesterday on the channel, and you better have seen it. Chris,
Facts.
how you doing, man?
Stomach's still not 100%, but I'm feeling all right. I'm alive today.
And I'm glad you are, because if you were not going to the movies, I was gonna review this by myself, and it would have been a sad day, because I would have been talking to myself. But no, we're gonna get into it, guys. If you haven't seen the movie Eternals, spoilers ahead. We're gonna drop all the beans. We're gonna talk about everything, post credit, end credit, beginning, middle, and end. We're gonna break it down. We're gonna talk about it. So sit back and relax. And if you have anything you want to talk about, leave it in the comments. Any comments, any statements, or any ideas you think that we messed up on, just let us know down below. But Chris, let's get into it, man. The movie Eternals has been having a bit of a mixed review from critics and audiences such as ourselves. And this has been I believe they said, the lowest rated Marvel film on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's the only rotten Marvel film from the MCU ever.
And it's crazy because we could name a bunch of movies that were
Or worse
probably,
than
or if
this.
not worse than this. And to start off with that, I'm just gonna give it real quick. You want to talk about Thor: The Dark World, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2 and 3? Those are just to name a few. Some people may
First
even
Captain
say
America,
first Captain America or Captain Marvel.
right?
You know what I'm saying?
Black Widow.
Oh, Black Widow. Oh my God, what a! Don't even get me started on Black Widow.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes,
there's a lot of movies in the MCU
that deserve that title, rotten.
right.
Other than what we just saw in the theater. You know what I'm saying?
I
So,
agree.
Chris, this is a group of superheroes, so to speak, that the world has no clue until Marvel brought it to us, kind of like what they did with Guardians of the Galaxy. But people like yourself, who are comic book nerds, as we like to call them in the streets,
Yes.
you know about this crew. And were you excited when this was announced?
I mean, yeah, I remember we did a show about this where I came with all the receipts. I
My
have
man
a
had
whole
all the receipts.
list of every single character, what their powers were,
Oh,
what
that's
their
right. When the
backgrounds
trailer
were.
first dropped. Yes,
And
yes,
I was
sir.
giving you and Johnny the
You were
fact that you
giving,
guys were
yeah.
like, yo, I don't know anything about these
Yeah,
people.
yeah. You were
That's
giving
when
us
I
a
got
lesson.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
So yes, I was
Facts.
excited for this movie. And I wasn't disappointed.
Mhm.
It's just certain things in the story that when watching the movie that I was just like, what was the point of that kind of thing? But you know,
But I was gonna ask you, leading up to the film, although you were excited that these characters they were gonna be put on the big screen, and the actors that are playing these characters were pretty big. Not all of them, some of them. But were you thinking this was gonna be a great movie? Like, were you going into it thinking this may be a great MCU movie? Maybe there's gonna be sequels to this, or you were just going there clear mind. Maybe this is just a step forward into Phase 4.
um, I thought it could have been another Guardians of the Galaxy kind of thing.
Really?
Because when Guardians of the Galaxy came out, it was a team that
Yeah.
nobody knew.
Mm-hmm.
Smaller team, of course.
Yeah.
Which might have made that movie a little bit easier to flesh out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what they were doing in that first Guardians movie, yeah, they saved the galaxy, but it wasn't as heavy
Mm-hmm.
as what the weight of this Eternals movie held. What was going on the spectrum and all this stuff that was going on with the Celestials and stuff like that. So I did feel like it could have been a Guardians situation.
Yeah.
I also knew that Phase 4 so far has been kind of just a hey, we're gonna set up the future. Here's the future. Here's what's gonna
Yeah.
happen. Here's the future. Every single show they've put out, every movie they've put
Yes.
out has been a hey, we're gonna give you enough to get you excited, but this is really for the future. This is just kind of a stepping stone. I do think they're doing better with the introductions of characters and like groups and teams in this situation, but like Shang-Chi was great. That was a great intro movie to that character.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I said, everything kind of this phase has been, hey, here's enough for you to hold you down. We'll give you enough to make you happy,
Yeah.
but we're really kind of trying to set up everything in the future. So
So I didn't know anything about this group, but I felt like there were too many characters when it was first introduced, and I said, "Well, I guess this is the Eternals. Like you can't cut the group down." And I did some research on it and learning about the characters. I said, "How are they gonna fit this all together?" And then when they came out with the running time, which was like 2 hours and 36 minutes, I was like, "Well, that's how they're gonna do it. They're gonna use all this time to really explain who these characters are." So, going into the film, I had no high expectations. I said, I'm just going to sit back. I'm going to learn about these characters and maybe they will lay the groundwork for the future because, like you said, Phase 4 is kind of like introducing you to these new characters and what they mean to the MCU. So, just like you mentioned, Shang-Chi, that was a great introduction. I enjoyed that film. We saw it, we loved it. And coming into this, it was like, there's just too many moving parts. How are they gonna get this to work? And I want to say we're gonna talk about the film now. I think they had the right idea, and I mentioned this on Twitter too. You can follow me on Twitter at Lu Nieves Jr. This was a good film, and I think if you're a fan of the MCU, you should see this film. Do not skip this film. But I don't know if this movie was needed. So, Chris, after watching the film, you just saw it, so it's fresh in your mind. I saw it Thursday. What are your thoughts on the film overall?
Like my grading, or
Oh
just
no,
like,
we'll leave the grading for the end. But just overall, what you thought coming out of the theater, what you thought could have been done better, or stood the same, or that could have been taken out. I thought there was a lot of things that could have been taken out. But overall, just what do you think?
I feel like they fleshed out certain characters, or I think that what to me the biggest mistake they made was promoting certain characters because of the actor behind it,
Mm-hmm.
and then them not really playing a major role in the movie.
Yes. Well, you can spoil it. You can say what you want.
Like Kit Harington, they pushed him in every single thing, and he only had 5 minutes in the movie. His character is the Black Knight. They didn't even go into his character fully until like the end, where him and Xerxes were talking, and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna let you know about my family," which is part of his story. And then of course the end credit scene. So it's like, yeah, cool, but it's like, why did you promote him as a major thing if he literally played no part in the movie at all?
Yeah.
One, um, that was a big issue for me, and I think the villain that they promoted wasn't really like the main villain. he, he was like a side villain mostly.
I didn't even
throughout the
know who the
movie.
villain was watching the trailer. I was still
And,
confused until I saw the movie.
The way, well, it was a deviant, but like the
Yeah.
way they ended him off was like a kind of like a really that's all it took.
Well, he went off
Like
into the
he was
sunset.
no, not
Oh,
him. I'm talking
oh,
about
okay.
the deviant
Oh,
that
okay.
that Athena was fighting.
Yeah, you see, there's so many moving parts, Chris. That's why it's so confusing. But continue.
No, so hold on. I want to get the character's name, so I know
There's
I'm
so
not,
many people. That's what I mean.
right. No, I just want to make sure I'm not saying anything wrong. You know what I mean?
My man looked like he came out of District 9.
No, so
Stealing powers and shit and turning into an alien with
right,
6
but
eyes
he's in like a major part,
in the comic
and
books.
then well, he's like a major villain. So it's like the way they introduced him was cool, and then to see him grow throughout the movie was cool, and then to end it the way they did was kind of like a what? Like that's it? It just took one of them. Like I'm over here thinking they're gonna have to fight because he's over here stealing their powers, and then just one of them does it. But that's what happened. Whatever. And then obviously, the plot twist where basically another evil Superman, even though he technically wasn't evil. But Hickory Doc over
Oh my god, my man got nicknames for them now.
here. No, but like
He
overall,
he was playing the Thanos in this movie.
overall the movie wasn't bad. I think what I really loved about the movie is that they made the Celestials really scary. Like they put that fear of them into it because they showed how the Eternals are strong,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're like, "Yo, hold up, this is their master." And especially at the end, they show what they can do, and he was like, "Yo, fam, keep playing with me. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna kill everybody.
Yeah.
Keep playing, right?" So I'm
Basically,
like, oh, hold up.
basically.
I'm out. He's crazy. Like, and it just showed the weight that the Celestials have. It's like, yo, I was about to birth another one of these things, and you just ruined my plans. And now you better hope you that paid off, because if your thoughts about them aren't right, it's over for y'all and them. Like, you're
Yeah,
all
yeah.
done.
Well, they even mentioned that Thanos delayed it
Right, but
by 5 years.
Thanos is an eternal
Yes.
with the deviant gene, which
Mm-hmm.
is how he ended up being purple and ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Because as you saw, the deviants are all ugly pieces of garbage,
Yeah.
And at the end, as you saw, Thanos' brother, who looked regular.
Star Fox, hot and sexy. Yeah.
That's your boy.
Yeah. What
But
is this
overall,
song?
I did enjoy the movie. It wasn't bad. It also wasn't great. There was I mean, like any other MCU movie, they all have their flaws.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, overall good movie. I enjoyed it.
So yeah, I agree with you. I think the movie was good. I think it was too long. I was speaking about this with my wife, and she was saying she thinks it needed to be that way, so that way we can get the flashbacks. And I
Right.
enjoyed the flashbacks of the history because as we've been on this earth for however long, we've learned this in school about things that happened in the past. So seeing how they had some effect on the history was pretty dope. I enjoyed that. But then it was getting too much. I was like, okay, I get it. You're around for a very long time and you've helped society get to where it's at today. I
They've been out
get it.
here.
What you say?
I said they've been out here.
Yeah, I get it. And I enjoyed everyone's superpowers, but I felt like they weren't strong. Like when I'm watching them fight the deviants, right? Granted, I understand that the deviants are strong, but bro, a lot of the times it just felt like they were just like, get off of me, get off, like like nothing was being done, and I was like, they don't seem strong. The other thing that bothered me in the little bit of fight scenes that we got, especially towards the end, which was kind of whack, like the build up, and then they left some people out, and I'm like, what?
That really bothered me.
Yeah, like you left my Bollywood man who was the best part of the movie
Who
out.
got Diesel for what?
Yeah, for I didn't even see him with his shirt off. What was that
He was just
for?
over here like,
Yeah, it was a pew pew pew, and it didn't do nothing. Then he was doing some fucking Ryu Hadouken shit, and that was the strongest thing. And I'm like, okay, we got a strong move. But even Hikaris, who's supposed to be the
this guy
Superman,
said
supposed,
Hickory.
yeah. So
Icarus Doc.
yeah, I was thinking that. That's why I said it. So he's doing his lasers, and like he didn't even feel strong either. He's fighting another demon that's flying. He's punching. And it's like I didn't feel like they were strong. And then the CGI, I was starting to think, did Marvel and Disney really invest the money, or did they run out of money giving all to Angelina Jolie and Salma Hayek that they couldn't afford good CGI? The CGI was trash, bro. I felt like I was watching a DC film, and that bombed me because I wanted a great fight scene with all these characters, and we never got that. And I thought the story was good. The part about society and family and humans and what they mean to the world, I thought all those things were really good when it was happening. But then it was like they're getting the team back together. It kind of felt like Endgame, and it was like, oh, this seems too familiar, and that's what bothered me. I thought even at the end, like you mentioned, what was the actor's name that they had him in the trailer and in the movie he was in there for like 5 minutes.
Kit Harington, Black Knight.
Yeah, so even
He's basically
him,
the human Eternal. Like,
yeah,
he wasn't an original Eternal, but he becomes one because he picks up the
sword,
sword,
yeah.
which they showed at the end as well. And yeah,
And I'm like, this guy was a waste. I felt like a lot of these characters were a waste.
right.
And they could have done so much better. And I'm not saying that the movie was bad because I thought it was good. Like Chris would say, it's mid. It's a mid film. But it wasn't great. And after leaving the theater, just like, damn, there was something missing there.
Right.
So, then we get into the mid credit where we get the
Wait, we gotta mention before
What?
we keep going. This is the first MCU movie that had a sex scene Congratulations to Eternals for that.
Oh
The
yeah, I
first time
mean,
we ever got a sex scene on
they got
screen in the
little
MCU.
body rubbing. You know what I'm
You
saying?
know, for everybody saying it's for kids.
No,
There you
this one
go.
wasn't. And I had my
Happy.
daughters with me. I was like, oh shit, look.
So there you go. Now you can't say the MCU is just for kids. They had sex and violence and
Yeah. And
all that in there.
and it got banned from Saudi Arabia because one character is gay.
Yeah.
And it's like,
even though none of his scenes were like crazy.
No,
with,
it wasn't.
It was just mad regular. It wasn't like they went over the top with like, that kind of stuff. They just kept it regular. There was probably like one kiss.
They didn't even have a makeout session like the others two did.
Yeah, they just had a little tap kiss.
Yeah, a little tap kiss.
That was it.
You know what I'm saying? What the fuck? So whatever. But is there anything else before we get into the mid-credit and end credit?
I'm gonna say my least favorite Eternal was Sprite.
Oh yes, yes, that annoyed me.
She was basically, to me, she's like another kind of like Loki.
Really? I just hated that they made this little kid, which we know wasn't a little kid, towards the end just be like, oh, I love him now. What?
Right, that's what I'm saying. They didn't flesh out her character.
Yeah. Like, where'd that come from?
Let us know that, that was the situation. Is that she wanted to feel regular because she's the only Eternal that is like half.
Yeah.
She got the short end of the stick by being a kid. Everybody else is a full grown. You know, even though they're robots built by Celestials, they're not even humans. They're robots built by the Celestials to be perfect. They're like the perfect embodiment of what that planet is.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So, but she was my least favorite Eternal.
Who was the name of the character that was like Flash? Because that
was my favorite.
She was my favorite because
Makari.
She's in The Walking Dead, and she's actually deaf, right? Like, she's a deaf actress. She's great. I think she did an amazing job. She actually they said it too in interviews. She helped teach the cast members signs.
Yep.
And that was beautiful, man. And knowing her from The Walking Dead and then seeing her here, I was like, yo, she's amazing, bro. I just loved it. The one thing I didn't like, and I mentioned this to my wife, and this may just be me being a film snob, like Chris would say, when she yelled when her homeboy was getting like drilled into the ground, I didn't like that. Because in film or TV, so to speak, whenever there's, it doesn't always happen this way, but whenever there's a person that's mute or deaf, whatever, whenever they put the camera on them, they kind of give you the vibe of what it's like to be mute or deaf. So anything around them, when the camera's on them, you don't hear nothing. So when I heard her scream, I thought it would have been more impactful, kind of like in Godfather 3 when, Michael Corleone sees his daughter die, he's at the steps of the church, and it goes fucking mute, and you see and feel the emotions that he's going through. I wanted to feel that with her, and I didn't, because nothing really resonated. Like, they didn't really show that relationship. So it was like those little things. I'm like, if they probably would have muted that, and we saw and felt the emotion of her feeling hurt, of her boy getting, drilled into the ground, maybe it would have felt better. But those are just little things. That's just me being a film snob.
That's definitely you being a film
snob. Yeah, it's just the little things. So
Makari was definitely my favorite. I honestly think on screen might be my favorite speedster I've seen. Like,
but the CGI was bad.
I understand that, but
when she was fighting at the end, I thought that was dope.
Not even just that, like the way they made it look, instead of doing the typical slow motion, let's show everybody slow it around them. This is how fast they're going. They literally just showed how fast she was and how fast she was moving compared to everybody else.
Sick. It was sick.
Crazy.
I liked it.
She was going crazy.
Yeah.
She was giving Icarus hands and feet.
Yeah, it wasn't like Quicksilver kind.
I like how they even showed like her using the speed of sound to her advantage. Like when she would be speeding and then stop, and it would be like a sound barrier hitting them instead of her actually hitting them. That was awesome to me. Like, I've never seen that in a speedster type of.
They're learning. I think they're trying to figure out these speedster kind of things, because the Quicksilver and Fox, they did a great job with the slow motions.
Right, that was beautiful.
Yeah, but we didn't get that kind of slow motion that we got from Fox when we saw it at Age of Ultron with our Quicksilver. And then we see this was an upgrade. But when she was looking for that tablet and she like stops in the middle of the ocean, you just know there was a green screen behind there. It just looked bad. It looked really bad. But for the most part, her fighting scenes, yo, she
Yeah,
was going off, bro. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. Are we safe to go into mid credits now, Chris?
we can go into the mid
All
credits.
right.
Let's
Your
talk about your favorite guy in the world.
Pip. It's my favorite guy. The leprechaun. I did some research, and this guy can teleport anywhere in the universe.
Yeah, he's like he kind of uses like something similar to the Bifrost.
And it's incredible. Like when I saw him jump out, he's voiced by Pat Oswalt. What's his name? Patton Oswalt? Oswald
So.
Patton? Something like that. We've seen him. He's a comedian. And I was like, yo, this is dope. But when I went to the theater, it was a Thursday night, and there was a lot of little girls in the theater. You know where I'm going with this.
I do.
So when Star Fox, the man, the
Boy.
myth, the legend himself, aka Harry Styles, walked out, he was like, I couldn't hear the fucking words he was saying, so I had to rewatch it on YouTube on a bootleg version. And he's like, they introduce him. This is Thanos' brother. He is the fly pimp himself. He can really change people's emotions, which later on in the comic books that I learned, She-Hulk kind of like got him out of some nasty cases of him using his powers to his advantage. Yeah, check it in the comic books. It's really bad stuff. Stuff that won't slide, and you won't see this in the MCU, by the way. And I see him there. He's smiling. I'm like, all right, good looking guy. We know him. The girls love him. But can he act? Can he pull this off as Star Fox? Can this work? And then he has like a little orb, and he's like, your friends are in trouble. I know where they are.
It's the same orb that Ajax gave to Cersei.
Yeah. So
he has one of his own from his planet, which is obviously the same planet as Thanos.
Yeah. So were you excited for this, Chris, when you saw your boy Harry Styles?
I mean, it was rumored that he was in it already.
I didn't know about
which
this.
Is probably why those little girls were there.
Oh, it was so annoying, bro.
Harry Styles is confirmed. I have to make sure I see with my eyes. So that's probably why they showed up.
I wanted to throw stuff at them. Oh, you don't know, bro.
They wanted to see their boy, so they got to see their boy.
Annoying.
I don't know if he's gonna play like a major role.
I hope not.
If they do like a part 2 to Eternals,
you think they will?
I do think.
I hope they don't,
because I mean they can't just end it the way they did with the Celestials coming and taking everybody that was left on
Big
Earth.
facts.
Because the 3 left, and then pretty much where the mid-credit scene starts is that they've been out for a while searching for other Eternals, like trying to free them for the Celestials, holding whatever. And the people that were left on Earth, which was Cersei, Kingo, and Sprite, basically were like, yo, you're coming with us. If you guys don't really like these people, they're dead. We're killing. We're taking this Earth out. You know what I'm saying? And basically, like when they go to the mid-credit scene, it shows that they were like, yo, how come they're not answering? They don't know that their friends are in trouble. So that's him basically letting them know, like, yo, your friend's about to get smoked. So I'm pretty sure that's them leading up to another, like a second Eternals movie, setting that up, especially with Harry Styles being a part of it. So we'll see what else they can do with that. I was really more excited for the end credits.
Ooh, tell us about the end credit, Christopher.
It's basically Black Knight, Kit Harington.
But who's Black Knight? Give us some comic book references. Go ahead.
I said it before that he's the only human Eternal. He becomes
what comic book issue was he introduced? Go ahead.
By plicking up. I don't know.
By plicking? What the hell's plicking?
I don't know what the freaking.
I'm joking.
But
he was introduced like in the 70s, I think, or some shit. I don't even know.
Right. His name is actually Dane Whitman.
Yeah.
Is his character's name. Which is why at the end when he goes to touch the blade. He goes, are you sure you want to do that, Mr. Whitman? And the voice that you hear is none other than Mahershala Ali, who has been casted as Blade. And the only reason that gets me excited is because this could lead to the story of his character and Blade going to fight Dracula, who is also an MCU, a Marvel character who I think they're leading into, because if I'm not mistaken, the Christmas special includes a certain werewolf, but that's not to be confirmed yet. We're gonna find out obviously during Christmas.
I thought you were gonna say something about Spider-Man or Morbius, but forget it.
Obviously, that could be another thing. Morbius as well.
I was like,
but Morbius
go ahead,
isn't
Chris.
Part of that fight.
You're like, no.
Morbius isn't part of that fight.
I know,
You
I
know
know.
what I'm saying? So I can't. I can't.
But what's cool about it, I didn't know this. They said from what my research that I didn't know Blade is from London. So that character, I always thought it was a New York character. Like it was based in. I watched too many
Because of the
cartoons.
movies?
Oh, the cartoon, right? The Fox Spider-Man Fox cartoon. Not even the Wesley Snipes shit. It was just the Fox Spider-Man cartoon when him, Spider-Man, and Morbius fight. So anyway, whatever. At first I thought from just hearing it again, there was kids in the theater and they were annoying me still. So it was hard to hear when he said, "Do you want to do that, Mr. Whitman?" And I'm like, "Wait, is that Jeffrey Wright, just the Watcher?" And then of course it was actually said by producers and Kevin Feige that no, it's Mahershala Ali. So
Yeah, the only reason he said that is because the Ebony Blade, which is I believe what it's called.
yes, it
Correct
is.
me if I'm wrong, County, but I believe it's the Ebony Blade has a curse to it.
Yes,
So if you grab it, you're cursed forever. Like
that's it.
So that's basically how he becomes an Eternal. It's like, yo, you sure you want to do that?
And the costume is dope. When I saw in the cartoon, I mean the comic books.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see that on a big screen.
that's what I'm saying. Like, yo,
I want to see it
Blade?
go down. Yeah. Now, the thing is, will he be in Blade though? The rumor is that Blade's coming out 2023. It was originally for 2022, but they pushed it back.
It's very possible. I mean,
this would be a great story.
Right. It depends what story they're going with. Mm-hmm. This could have been a way to, like I said, introduce that story with the Dracula, especially if they're going to do the werewolf story during the Christmas thing. That'll be a good way to introduce Dracula into the MCU. And then, boom, have the story where this character and Blade come through and fight and defeat Dracula. And it'll be the first time we've seen Blade in a very long time.
I think it's going to be great. The actor they got is amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
Mahershala Ali is great.
Unreal, bro. If you haven't seen, what's it called? The Green Book? I think that's what it's based on a true story. Please go see it. It got nominated for awards. I think they even won some. I think it's called The Green Book. Really good story. So I saw it and I'm like, okay, I had to look it up because again, I don't know these characters. But now that it's all out there, I was a little disappointed. I was hoping that we were going to get some reveal to the future of the Avengers or something that will connect them. Not saying that this won't connect later on down the line, but I'm thinking maybe it's a reveal of the X-Men characters. Maybe we hear something about mutants. Maybe we get an introduction to something from the Fantastic Four, being that this is all cosmic, kind of thing. Like I'm thinking one of those things are going to happen. We're going to get introduced to a bigger character, bigger story. Not saying that these characters are not big or important, but I'm thinking the bigger picture. Because the next movie after this is Spider-Man. And it's like, these don't really connect, so to speak, because I feel like Spider-Man and Doctor Strange is going to connect to Doctor Strange of Madness. And we got Hawkeye coming.
Nothing so far has really connected.
Nothing. And it feels weird. Remember in the first phase, like things connected to the next movie.
Right. Like the only thing we know connected so far has been WandaVision and Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
But that's it.
And it's weird. It's a weird feeling.
And even the way that ended wasn't even like a straight connection. It's just we know that she's going to be in the movie. So it's
only because what they told us.
Before that movie starts, this is where it's at. Like this is going to explain why she's where she's at pretty much.
This phase 4 feels weird. And I'm scared because although they're doing great in the box office, it was just announced today that Eternals made 71 million domestically, and I think 100 and something million globally.
Like almost 200 mil globally.
Yeah, it's the second largest opening in the pandemic era, and it looks like fucking Marvel's killing it with these drops because Shang-Chi killed it, and now you got this. Right. So it's like people are hungry for this, and I like it. But we got Hawkeye next, November 24th. Then we got Spider-Man. Yeah. After Spider-Man, it's like, what happens next? We're going to get Morbius, but it's not connected. But it's literally like, it's January.
Is it connected?
I hope. So that's the thing. It's like, okay, great movies are coming. But I just don't think this movie was needed. And that's why I'm going to give my grade, and then Chris can give his grade. I'm giving this a 7.5, Chris.
You rated it higher than me. I'm giving it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, so the reason why I did 7.5, I really dig the story. I thought the story was beautifully written. The characters, that family, it felt like family. Like you, if you watch that film, that's what family is really about.
It
You
felt like
know,
a Fast and Furious.
yeah, it's about family. You know, I was gonna start doing the rock rhymes, but if you haven't noticed, we're doing this on Sunday. It was just announced on Vin Diesel's side note. Vin Diesel posted something on Instagram talking about how he
Oh,
wants the Rock
apologizing.
back.
Yep, yep.
He's like, "Yo, Rock, my kids call you Dwayne,
I need
Uncle
you. I need your
Dwayne.
money.
Yeah, you the biggest star, and you help my franchise. I need you back." Even though they're doing good without him, but it's like whatever. That's another side story. But I I think this was a very good film that you should see again. I just don't know if Marvel needed this film to push any of the storylines forward. That's my only issue. I think something like this could have been said in some type of dialogue in like 10 minutes between like Doctor Strange and Dr. Banner, and it would have been great. Okay, great. This is what happened. We get a little flashback. I don't know. You know, we got the what was it, the Celestial that's frozen in the ocean somewhere. Where is that gonna come up in another film? Or are they just gonna ignore that thing is in the ocean, frozen somewhere? It's just I don't know if it was needed, man. So that's why I give it a 7.5. Any reason why you give yours a 7?
Just overall, like I said, it wasn't great. It
Mm.
was a mid tier, a little bit higher than the regular other mid tiers to me,
Yeah.
but it's a good movie overall. I think what they did was great as far as setting the tone with the Celestials.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but obviously, I feel like they didn't give me enough, and the side stories just didn't make too much sense to me.
Yeah.
The best story to me was between Athena and what's his name? Oh, I think it was Gilgamesh,
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
his
yeah,
name was.
yeah. He was
Their
strong.
story
Yeah.
was probably the best fleshed out to me.
Yeah. There
That
was a
I
connection
enjoyed.
there.
Right, like that was the only real, like even the Circe and Icarus story.
Eh,
Yeah, it was a love story, but it was just like, all right, whatever. Like, who cares?
You didn't need
It
that.
wasn't even that serious, right?
You didn't
But
need
they're
that.
like to me, Thena and
That felt more
Gilgamesh's love
love.
story was like legit to me because even
He
when
cared.
she's fighting in the cave with the deviant, and he tried to act like he was him. She realized it wasn't and snapped out of her little state, the mind state that she was in, and sliced him up.
Yeah.
Hit him with the slice and the dice and you know what I'm saying? Like she hit him with it. But outside of that, I mean, like you said, some of the other stories just to me weren't fleshed out. The fact that uh this guy said was like, "Yo, I'm not gonna fight you guys. I'm out. I'm gonna holler at you," and went back to Bollywood.
I
Kind of
thought that
pissed
was
me
so
off
whack.
because I'm like, I want to see him fight.
Yeah, I want to see the
know?
Hadoukens. You know what I'm saying? The pew pew stuff was whack, but
Even though I love his camera guy was the best.
that guy made the
Hilarious.
film. Can we talk about that for 2 seconds, bro? Every time he spoke was hilarious.
He was
Between
great.
the amount of cameras, they're like, "Yo, why you got all these cameras, bro?"
I thought you broke it.
Yo,
That was great.
The greatest part of that film was that character, and you know the mentions of Batman and Superman were in there as well. People,
Yeah, like DC Comics is a thing.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't have a cape.
yeah, I loved
they
it.
mentioned Alfred.
Yeah,
They mentioned all like I was like, okay, I see what they're doing.
yeah, I
get it.
loved it. I loved it. But
But yeah, overall, it was like I said, it was a good movie. It just wasn't great, and there was too many like things left that I just wasn't satisfied with. Even though I did like the ending where he kind of just sets off into the sun after betraying his team, and he feels the guilt of that. So he's like, I can't even stay with you. I'm out. Even though what they wanted to do in the end, he didn't end up actually turning on them. It was just like an actual battle of his how he felt and what he was destined to do type of thing. So but yeah, that's why I gave it a 7 out of 10.
well, Chris, I think we both agree. This was just a good movie, and we recommend people to see it, especially if you're a fan of the MCU.
Yep.
Don't skip this film. It was entertaining to say the least, but it wasn't a great film. So don't go in there. Again, if if you watch this whole thing, we spoiled pretty much everything for you. But if you haven't watched it, try to go in there with a clear mind because this is not your typical MCU movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Like I was gonna say it's definitely like sometimes
It's a
doesn't
different
feel like
feel.
an MCU movie at all.
Yeah, it's a different feel, man. There were
Like it has
moments.
its moments of MCU stuff.
Yeah.
But then like majority of it is kind of like, okay, this is a little different.
Yeah.
It felt a little different.
I think if this was not if it was not labeled Marvel, DC could have got away with this.
100%.
because this felt like a DC film. It was weird. It was really weird. The tone
I
and
mean,
it's just
she
weird.
said it. She came out with the article
Well, yeah, it was influenced the
by Man of Steel.
director by Man of Steel. So,
So
but overall, the director did a great job. I thought it looked beautiful. It was very well shot, especially in the dark scenes, especially like in the woods when they first started fighting. It reminded me of that first Avengers fight, when
oh yeah, yeah,
Thor
yeah.
and Loki and Iron Man and
And Cap.
Cap, they were just fighting. Like those were iconic moments, and I loved it. But we're gonna end it here, guys. I want to thank you all for being here and watching the review. We really appreciate the love and support, guys. Remember, we go live every Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern, twitch.tv/KeepGivingPodcast. We post those shows every Monday. Just go to YouTube and type in Keep Gaming Podcast. And if you don't got time to watch us on YouTube, you can listen to us wherever you get your podcast. Just search Keep Gaming Podcast. That's going to be it for us, guys. We love y'all. And until next time, keep gaming. Peace.
Peace.